Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Easy Programming. I am Naveen Mishra. In today's video tutorial, I will explain what are AWT frames and how they work. I will also explain the input controls that are to be placed inside these frames. Okay, so let's start today's topic. What are containers in Java? Whenever we are working with a GUI application gives you a pop-up window, pop-up box like this one. This is called a container. How will you create a container where you can place different objects? Different objects like for login form you need an email ID box, then the password box, and then you need a submit button. Let's say a submit button is here. You want to give an informative message here like enter your password here, and you want to give a message here like enter your email ID here. Okay, so let's say you want to create something like this, then you can use the containers of the Java language. Okay, so let's see what are the containers. To create the canvas, to create the container box, you can use three different classes: window, panel, and frame. This is a outlook how these classes are created or stored in the Java package. So container is the main class which have these child classes, and the window class further have a child class of frame and dialog, and applet class is the child class of the panel class. That is, whenever you are creating an applet, in my previous video I have explained you about the applets. In the applets by default use the panel box. Today we will focus on this frame and window. Okay, even the container class has a parent class named as component class. Okay, so if first of all we have a component class, then component have a containers, then containers follow this route. Okay, so we will study everything about these controls. Okay, so the containers will let you place the objects inside themselves. Okay, how the objects will be placed. Let's say you have this box and you want to place a text box here. So where you will place this text box? You can place it here, you can place it here, you can place it here, you can place it here. How the objects will be placed in your main window? This is decided using the another concept of layout managers. Okay, this layout managers concept, I will explain this in some other video tutorial, but today's topic will focus on windows or frames. Okay, now the first of the container class that we use is the panel class. In the applet window I have told you earlier that we were using the panel class. Okay, if you want to use it in the frame or window, you have to create the object, and this is how you create the object of panel class. Okay, then to add anything on your panel you will use this method. That is, let's say you have created a panel with a window like this one and you want to place a text box here. Okay, so this is let's say this is your text box and this is your panel. To add the text box in panel you will use this method. Okay, now the placement of the object, that how would you place the object, I have told you you need a layout manager, right? The panel class by default have a layout manager of flow layout. Flow layout behaves like a textbook or a notebook you have. Let's say this is your notebook. You start writing at the top left corner and move on to the right as long as you have the space. Once you reach the end of the line, you move to the next line and do the same thing. This is called flow layout control. So panel will by default will have flow layout manager. You can change the manager or you can place the object as per your requirement. I will explain these in this video. Okay, now this panel must be added in some kind of a frame, so you need a parent box for the panel. This parent box can be created using the frame class as you see here. Okay, so we will be using this in the upcoming videos, but today we will not focus on this panel class. We'll focus on the window class. Now what is a window class? You see this is a box that I was explaining you earlier, and I want to create something like this in my Java. So to create this we can use the frame class, but the frame class inherits the properties of window class. Window class object cannot be created directly. You have to call the frame class and then you can use the properties of window class. Okay, So using this window combination of windows and frame class, you can create something like this. You can create a login form, you can create a registration form, and you can also perform the button click. These are the submit and cancel button. You can also perform the submit and button click as well. Okay. Now let's study about the frame class. So this is a thorough or a short overview of frame class. So frame class inherits from the window class and it has the properties of window class. When you create a frame, what you will get is you will get a title bar. You will have a title bar. You will have a menu bar. You will have the borders. These are the borders, right? You will have these borders as well, and you can resize the corners as well. You can expand or shrink the size of this box as well. Okay, so when you are using the frame class, you can implement two main constructors. You can create a frame window with no title at all, no title is written here, or you can create a frame window with a title like welcome. Okay, to pass the title, you can use the second constructor, and to create an empty frame without any title, you can call the first method as well. Okay. Now, what should be the size of the frame that you are opening? You can set this using the setSize method. Just specify the x and y width and height of the object. Sorry, not x and y, width and height of the frame window that you want to create. Okay. Now, how to create frames in Java? These are the steps that you can follow to create the frame. Okay. So first of all, you have to import the package. This is the first line. First of all, you have to import the package at this line. Then you have to use the frame class. You can use the frame class in two ways. Number one, by creating the object, or by inheriting the frame class. I'll explain both of these. Once you have created the frame, you have to specify the size of the frame. You do this by using this setSize method. Pass the width and height. Let's say you want to create this box. What is the size of the box? Let's say 300 width and 400 height. So you can do this using this width and height properties. Okay. Once you have this, what you will do is you have to set the visibility of the frame to true as well. Whenever you create a frame, it will not be visible to you by default. You have to set the property of this frame to visibility true. Only then you can see the object. And once your frame is shown to you, you must need to close this. But to close this, you have to use the inbuilt method of window closing event. This is not an easy method to implement it. You have to understand the concept of event handling. We will do this for some other video. Okay. So this is how you can create this. So all the steps I have explained you here. I have created a program for this. These are the steps, and there you go. So step 1, I have imported the AWT package. Step 2, I have created the object. Step 3, set title, set size, set visible. I have not closed the window because I told you that to do this you have to use this window closing method. So we will not be doing that. Okay. So you can use this step, or you can inherit the frame class as well, like this one. Again, import the package, then create your own frame and inherit the inbuilt frame method. Okay. To use this, you will create the object here in the main window, and in the constructor of this frame you can set the properties. Okay. So I'll show you how to do that first. So this is the Sublime window. Let's try. So the program is to create a frame window. Okay. So import java.awt.star, then class myFrame extends frame. I'll create a constructor of this myFrame. Okay. And then I'll create an object in the main function. So what I can do is, okay, class call frame. I'll place the main method here. Once I have this method, I will just create the object. Okay. When I call this object, the method will be passed here. So what I'll do is I'll set the title first. I I'll set the size, let's say 600, 600. I'll set the visibility property to. Okay, let's save this file with name callFrame.java. Okay, then I'll open containing folder, shift plus right click here, open PowerShell window here, compile the file using Java C, callFrame.java. No error, then I can run my file Java call. There you go, you can see this window popped up. Okay, this is the size that I have given, 600 by 600, and if I close this it will not work because we are not implementing window closing method till here. To remove this, go to this PowerShell and press Ctrl C. The window will be closed. Okay, so you have created the frame. Let's see another way. You can either do this or you can either do this. I have explained you in the PPT. Okay, so either you can do this or you can do this method. So you can create a method in this way as well, a frame in this way as well, or in this way. So I have used this way and explained it to you. Okay, now to create a form, you can create a form like this one for a practice, like a registration form where the various fields will be there. To create all these fields, Java AWT provides you the different classes. These are called the passive entities, where the user cannot perform any click or cannot do anything. User cannot interact with these fields. So these are called labels. To enter some kind of text, you can use text field property. For password, we use text field with password. These male and female buttons will come using the radio button. To get the drop down for state and countries, you can use the choice box. And then to create these buttons, you can use the button class. Okay, so let's try to do that. I'll create a program for you guys. Okay, just a second. I'll implement it here. I'll continue working here and I'll create a login form here for you guys. Now you have to implement the objects of some classes. Okay, just a second. Okay, so three main classes we will be using in creating a login form. One is label class. If we want to create this thing, we want a label here like register yourself, followed by the text field, two text fields, followed by the button class. Okay, so you have to use three class objects. So this is how you will create the object of the label class, text field, and the button class. Once you create the object, you have to add them. Okay, before adding you have to set the bounds. Okay, you have to set the bounds by yourself. I told you that if you create the frame window, it will give you a border layout option. It will have title bar, menu bar, and then the borders. To place the objects, initially I will set the layout to null, and then I'll place object by specifying the position of each object. Okay, to specify the position of the object, we can use the setbounds method. Okay, and then once we have defined the location, we can call the add method to add the object in the frame. Okay, so let's try to do that one by one and let's see what happens. So here we go. I'll create the object of first of all label. So label class, I'll create three labels: LBL title, LBL name, LBL password. You can give any name, name to this object, but usually give a meaningful name to your variables. Okay, so once I have this, I'll say set layout null, and then I will initialize these objects. LBL title equals to new label, login here. Then I'll say LBL name equals to new label, enter your email ID. Then LBL pass equals to new label. So once we create the object, we have to add them in our frame. So we'll say add LBL title, add LBL name, add LBL pass. Okay, let's save this, go to our window, recompile the file, and then run the file. Okay, you see that nothing is placed here because we have set the layout to null because of this set layout null property. When we set the layout to null, we have to specify the location of each object. Okay, so I'll do this. First of all, let me close this object by pressing the Ctrl C option. Okay, now let's go for this and specify the size. So I'll say lbl title dot setbounds. The window is of 600 by 600, so I want to place the object at the top of the box. So I'll say start from 20 comma let's say 50 comma 100, and the width of the object is 150 and the height is 30. Then lbl. Okay, first let's see this, that if it displays the title. Let's check this first. Compile and run. There you go, I have the login here. I can move this login here to in this position. For this I have to specify the width. Okay, just a second. So I'll say let's say 250. Let's see what happens. Recompile the file, run the file. There you go, login here at the middle of your window. Okay, so let's move on. Let's place other objects. So I'll say lbl name dot setbounds. I want to place it at the 50th location, and instead of 100 I'll say 120, and 150 comma 30 will remain as it is. And then I'll say lbl pass dot setbounds. I want to place it little downwards, so the x will remain as it is, the y will move to let's say 250, and the remaining objects, the remaining things I can place as it is. So I have saved the file. Let's recompile and run. So enter email ID and password fields are there. I have to move it to the bottom, to the little bottom email ID, so I'll place again. So I'll move this to location 150. That should work. Okay, now I have to place the text field, so I'll create the object of text field txt email comma txt pass. Once you declare the object, you have to initialize them. So I'll say txt email equals to new text field, and I'll say I'll not place anything, I'll leave it empty. Then I'll say txt pass dot equals to new text field. Okay, now I have to place them. I have to set the bounds of these objects as well. So I'll say txt email, it should be in front of the name. Okay, so I'll say txt dot set bounds. From 50 I'll move it to 200 position, 150 will remain as it is, that is the y-axis, and I'll give this width and height. Then I'll place txt pass dot set bounds, it should be placed in front of the label pass. So your 50 will move to 200, your y-axis will remain as it is, then you will specify the width and height. Okay, then you have to add these objects as well. So I will add this into the frame using this add method, and I'll say add txt email and then add txt. Okay, save this file, go to this PowerShell window, recompile the file. Okay, there are some errors. So it says cannot find symbol text email. Okay, I think I have to make it capitalized form. Let's see now. Sorry, I have to recompile. Compiles fine, then I have to run, and there you go. You can place the email ID like .com, and you can set the password like this. But your password is being shown here. Generally, when you type the password, it shows something like this, stars. To do so, you have to set the property to set echo char. So I'll say txt pass dot set echo char. That is whatever I type, but echo the character star to me. Okay, so that is, if whatever you type, it will show you star in front. Okay, so let's see this. Compile, run. Okay, you see this, I can type anything here, but it is showing me the stars. Okay, now I have to place the submit and cancel button. Okay, so let's do this. Button class object btn submit comma btn cancel. Once we have this, we have to initialize them. So I'll say btn submit equals to new button, and I'll say submit, then btn cancel equals to new button cancel. Then I have to set the bounds. So I'll say btn submit dot set bounds. I'll place it little downwards, so I'll say it to 250. No, I'll place it at 200 comma 350 comma object size remain as it is. Then I'll place the btn cancel as well dot set bounds. I'll move it widthwise to the right of the submit button, so I'll say I'll place it at 300. The y-axis will remain same and width and height will remain same. Then I have to add these objects into the panel, so I'll say add btn submit, then I'll say add btn cancel. Okay, let's save this file, go to here, recompile the file and run it. So there you go, submit and cancel buttons are placed. There a little bit of misplacement there, but you can set this value. Okay, I'll do that for you guys one more time. So from 200 I'll remove it to 160. Okay, save this, recompile and run. So there you go, submit and cancel buttons are placed. So this is how you can create a login window. Okay, and let's stop this. That's it from today video. What you guys can do is you guys can create something like this by yourself. Okay, I will explain this in the next video, and I will also explain the swings or how to create the form, login form in the NetBeans. Okay, thank you very much. That's it from this video. Thank you very much. See you in the next video. Cheers.